So welcome you all once again for this debate competition. So we have both teams ready on their position. So on my left-hand side is the team JMF and on my right-hand side is the team Debatation. So today's topic is curricular education is more prudent in managing solid waste than merely creating awareness among population. So let me repeat the topic. Curriculum education is more prudent in managing solid waste than merely creating awareness among population. So the team debaters will be proposing the topic and the team JMS will be opposing the topic. So before starting the debate, I would like to point out the rules and regulations for this topic. So first speaker from both teams will get a time limit of 5 minutes. And the rest of the speakers you will get 4 minutes for each. And finally, again, the first speaker will get 5 minutes for your summarization. And after the speech by the second speaker of both teams, you will be given a time allocation of 6 minutes. So within that time, you can prepare rebuttals within your teams. And one bell will be rang after 1 minute before your time ends. And 2 bells will be rang 30 seconds before your time ends. And at last, 3 bells will be rang at the end of the time, and thereafter your points will not be considered after you exceed the given particular time. So, by keeping those points on mind and as our students are eagerly waiting with their arguments to start the debate, so we'll commence the debate, and I would like to call upon the first speaker from the group debationers, Ms. Maheshwaran. So, to comment the debate by put forwarding her argument.
Good afternoon, very honorable judges, and my dear opposition team, and my dear teammates, and the audience. So, as the leader of the proposition, I would like to go to reveal my argument on the topic of curricular education is more prudent in managing solid waste than merely creating awareness among population. So, for this point, I would like to elaborate my point of view in what is curricular education really means. It's broadly defined as the totality of one's experience that occur in the educational process to a planned sequence of instruction or to a view of students' experiences for the specific program of the study. So, in a nutshell, will the comprisation of a set of courses, content and learning experiences provides the educational institution what is the outcome? The goal is to achieve a specific study. So this is meant by the curricular education. So from my definition, it's crystal clear that curricular education is a well-standardized, organized educational study and have a great, well-organized goal also. So how this curricular education is more prudent, that means more wise, more smart in managing the solid waste areas than the creating awareness among the population. So for that we have to understand what is creating awareness among the population. So that means creating awareness, in the sense, it involves the informing and educating individuals, communities about the specific issues or topics or courses at the limited time. So here, it's very obvious that in the journey of the curricular education, social awareness and creating awareness program also a part. So here we are focusing that curricular education is the long-lasting, long-term process, even though it's a slow process. So here we are going to stick on the point, though we are slow, we are steady and we are progressive. So to clear about this thing, I would like to go with one point that curricular education is more prudent, how more prudent in solid waste management rather than creating awareness. Take an example of the Japan versus Sri Lanka. So in Japan, even with small children is educated among the curriculum wise to be clean their society and keep and tidy. They are introducing 5S system that say so and so on. So this curricular education, what's the output? Inherently, a student, if they are inherently programmed to wastage, to manage the solid wastages. But in Sri Lanka, we also having the curriculum. But if you go and create an awareness program, what would be happen? For the creating the awareness program also, you need to be the resource person who is a curriculum well-educated resource person. So for the creating awareness is just for a limited time, and you are going to educate unknown people to do that as instantly. So that is the difference that we are sticking on. If you are inherently from your childhood, you are making to make the solid waste management as curriculum study, versus you are just go and creating an awareness program to make them to wastage the management. So it's obvious that the curriculum education is more prudent than the awareness among the creating awareness. So on this baseline argument, first speaker will be residing on the formal education policies, effectiveness and costs of the educational creating the awareness program, and our second speaker will be talk about the mentality and the behavioral patterns and how it be coincident for the curriculum education program. And my last speaker is eagerly waiting for the rebuttals, and she will be talking about the ways of the curricular activities which is working on a solid waste management. So on the whole, it's very obvious that an education curriculum program is more prudent, it's a more wiser, and it's a long-term, long-lasting process rather than creating an awareness for a particular population. Thank you.
So thanks again, ladies and gentlemen, our team, the proposing team. Nice to be here again. So we are opposing their statement that curricular education is more prudent in managing solid waste than merely creating awareness among populations. We are saying no, creating awareness among populations is more prudent in terms of solid waste management. So I would like to give a structure of how I'm going to talk about. So first I'll be highlighting a few points in the definition, and I will be introducing the basis under which our teammates will be speaking, and then of course I will come finally to my argument. Right. So that was a wonderful definition, thank you, and I accept most of the facts from the definition. And here, just to emphasize a few points, right, about curricular education, right. So from what she said, we can understand that this curricular education is based on an institution. It is based on set courses, and we are referring to people called students. Right? We are referring to students who belong to a particular institution or organization that is going to provide this education. Right? And awareness again, it is, the knowledge or perception of a situation or fact, right, according to the dictionary. So here we are going to give awareness. I would like to highlight that the process of giving awareness can be multimodal, right, and it has a wider range compared to just the curriculum, and also most importantly a factor called emotion is involved when it comes to creating awareness. And of course prudency is being wise and showing consideration towards the future, right. So that's about the definition, and I'm going to introduce the basis. So we're going to talk about coverage of the population when it comes to these set educational institutions, immediate practices leading to more sustainable solid waste management, the fact that theory is different from reality and practicality, right, and learning from theory is not as effective as learning through practice or learning in real time. And finally, the government's agenda and critical thinking. So we are going to speak under these 5 bases. To start off, I would like to highlight a few points from our first base regarding population coverage. By population coverage, I mean the people who are left out of this system, right? Left out of the education system.
in terms of Sri Lanka, I would say we have pretty much splendid coverage when it comes to primary education, right? Mostly everyone would be sent to school, right, until such time comes where they are allowed to work, and then your secondary education is stopped halfway and there is no tertiary education, and that is in the context of Sri Lanka where education is free. Think about other countries, right? Most of the countries you have to pay for this education, right? So again, the amount of people you are covering through this paid education system is not going to be 100%. There is definitely going to be a percentage that is left out from this system. The next most important question is, when it comes to solid waste management, who is the person that is more involved in it, right? I consider myself educated, right? So rather than me putting these teacups or whatever in the bins, I would say the worker at, say, a landfill has more direct involvement and a larger proportion of involvement in when it comes to solid waste management, right? So what I am trying to say is, these are the people who are really or more in need of this education or this awareness of how to do things right. For instance, the workers at these landfills or these places where they collect the trash, right? They don't know how to use proper personal protective equipment, right? And they are not in the system. So unless we go and do some kind of awareness program or find a way by, like a drama or an act or anything, we are not going to be able to give them that education, because they are not going to be able to afford them, not just them, even their children. When it comes to Bangladesh, most of the children live on collecting things for recycling. They can't afford to go to schools. So who will take responsibility for these people, right? Which is why we are saying that more than curricular education, creating awareness then and there, especially for these underprivileged people, is more prudent and more effective.
A very good evening to you all, my opponent members, my team members, and honorable judges. So I would like to start off with my rebuttal. She talked about the fact that it only covers just students. But number 19 of 1991 Sri Lankan Education Act, it also talks about the people who are undergoing skills development, which means it talks about teachers, people who take up on vocational training. So it's just not confined to students as well. And she also pointed out the fact that the people can't afford education. But for example, let's take Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka, from 15 to 14, the compulsory education is given, and also that is free. So, like when you start up from a very young age, you can learn. Like you will be able to absorb things faster than adults. Public awareness campaigns, programs, who does it involve? Mostly adults. I mean, yeah, it mostly involves adults who don't have the educational background, who have a questionable educational background. But when it comes to these children and all these adults who are taking up on formal educational program, they will be able to learn in a very structured way. They have a defined criteria on what they are going to learn. So they will be able to process the information little by little, slowly but steadily. This public awareness program is just like letting a person take the exam without studying. It's like backbencher going for an exam. But the formal education is like a topper going for an exam. They will study this for a long time, process the information, and sit for the exam. And then I would also like to emphasize on the fact compulsoriness. The formal education is compulsory, which means students have to take upon the role of studying. But when it comes to public awareness programs, not everyone will attend that program. We all know this is the cold hard fact. Human beings are inherently lazy. They are too lazy to attend some boring awareness program. Instead, they will go to watch a movie of Vijay or any other famous celebrities. That is exactly what they do. They are not going to watch all these nerdy stuff. So what can we do? We have to compulsorily let them take the education. That is the only way we can emphasize on solid waste management. And there is also discipline. Like when you're learning, you have to compulsorily do your homework. You have to compulsorily sit for exam. But when it comes to public awareness program, you don't have to do that. It is not compulsory. You can go if you want. You cannot go if you don't want. So What is that? It is like that once in a blue moon opportunity has no structure, no compulsoriness, nothing. And also the compulsoriness, the structure, the formal education is not only confined to the school level education from books. It also takes upon vocational training, practicals, assignments and everything. And also let's talk about this very own debate. This debate is a part of this formal education curriculum. For this we have to work on for weeks in order to get our knowledge together. So the formal education seems like a very practical way to educate people on solid waste management. This public awareness program is it is very ineffective. You can't educate people in one day and get everything done. It takes process. Everything takes process. We have to be patient, inform the knowledge well, and then take action. So thank you for your time.
A very good evening to everyone. Before starting my speech, I would like to re-emphasize one thing in this topic. This topic is not just about Sri Lanka. In Sri Lanka, we have a free education as well as a compulsory education. But if you take India, they have education. But if you take Dara Islam and also Malabar Hills, both of the places are in Mumbai. They have the same education system. But in the slums, the people won't get enough education. So this topic is not only limited to Sri Lanka. On that note, I am going to start my argument. In our team, the argument is based on 5 topics. I am going to discuss about 3 topics. The first topic is immediate practice leading to more sustainability. The second topic is the theory is different than the reality. And the third topic is impact on society. Let's take the first topic. Immediate practice lead to more sustainability. Let's take our education system. Yes, we are going to teach the grade 5 student about waste management. How much autonomy does that child have at their house? Can a child go and boss around their parents? You have to keep recyclables. The child won't do that. When the time comes, when the child has her or his autonomy, like at the age of 18 or 20, that time the child has already seen their neighbors and relatives all are doing the same thing, which is not taught at the school. So the child will think what our parents are doing is the right thing. When they get the autonomy, their mind will be changed. And at the same time, the syllabus only changes for 5 years, once for 5 years. Let's take the example of Meethotamula. When Meethotamula happened, that syllabus student doesn't know what happened in Meethotamula educationally. They get to know about that because of the public awareness program. If we put the Meethotamula incident in one book, it is going to take a 5 years of gap. And at the same time, between that 5-year gap, there will be more incidents such as Meethotamula. In Sri Lanka, it has happened as Kotikavatta, Karadeniya, Kolonnawa, and also in LA also nowadays there's a problem going on waste management because of the foreign people are coming for the tourism there. There's a problem going on. If you are going to put that problem in like 2025, we are going to put it in a book. The grade 10 students will come to the authority in like 20 years. It is going to take a large amount of time. So the immediate practice leading to more sustainability. In the immediate practice, we have to have awareness programs rather than education. And the second one is the theory is different than reality. When we are going to write a book, we are going to write about an ideal system. We are going to say you have to have 3 recycles bin. The municipal council will come to the house 2 times or 3 times a week. We are going to teach that at school. But when you are in Jaffna, we can say the difference. Only once a week the municipal council is coming to collect the waste. At the same time, without creating a solution, teaching the students won't be much productive. Because they say China, they are teaching. Yes, they are teaching. At the same time, they have the solution. If you take Philippines, they can teach, but they don't have the solution. And our third basis, impact on society. Where we can take the book learning versus practical learning. Let's take in our curriculum also, we have something about waste management. But the things we researched and learned about solid waste management for this debate, which is an awareness program, is not even compared to the things we learned in our books. And at the same time, we can see a clear example in the beach cleaning act taken by Sri Lanka. To mark the Environmental Day this year, Center for Environmental Studies and Open University of Sri Lanka has taken initiative to beach cleaning, which includes 2 beaches and 10 marine systems. Yes, we have learned about from grade 7 we have to keep our ocean clean, but we didn't do anything in that. If there is an awareness program, people will engage in that. So according to this basis, I would like to say creating awareness among population is more prudent in managing solid waste management than curricular education. Thank you.
So thank you, Ms.
Honorable judges, intellectual audience, and the respective opponent team. Today the topic is about curricular education is more prudent in managing solid waste rather than mere creating awareness among the population. So the key word here is which is more prudent, which is more prudent, which is more prudent means which is more wiser, more effective in reaction. So I will tell about 4 major things. First, I will talk about the behavioral impact of the curriculum education, which can affect for the population, and I will tell about why this curriculum education is more emphasized on the targeted education rather than whole population. How that is going to be very effective, and why there are PhDs even about the environmental studies. There are even PhDs which are related to this curriculum education, and I will give more example about Japan and also another example. So first of all, behavioral impact. So when we think about changing a behavior of a human being, it requires a lot of time. The habitual patterns are embedded within human beings. So if you want to change a single habit, at least according to the evidences, it takes 30 days. So nowhere awareness programs are conducting 30 days. So, but if you think about the curriculum, it is from kindergarten to university level, and furthermore, they can do this in the curriculum. So changing behaviors is a key factor when we think about the solid waste management of the human being, because if we think about an individual person change is the key to change whole world habits of the solid waste management. The second thing, the education curriculum is taught to a targeted audience. It's like a marketing system. It's like marketing system about the solid waste management. We just give the correct and exact information to a population. They are ready to listen. So it is more effective rather than giving the information here and there to a larger population. And it is more effective and much smarter. And another thing is, why, if the curriculum is not effective, why the PhDs in the environmental studies are there in the well-reputed universities? Because it is much effective. And the best example is, these awareness programs itself are conducted by the people, resource persons, who are well educated about these factors, about these curriculum, solid waste management information. So they are conducting, the 10% of these educated people conducting these awareness programs itself. So what about the other 90%? Those 90%, they don't come to even this awareness program if we do not provide the foods. So that's the best example for the effectiveness of this curriculum and the mere awareness program. So if you think about Japan have embedded the 3R and 5R methods to their school curriculum, and also there is a program which are embedded in their curriculums as Yakko Soji, which is teaching students to clean up their lunch after eating. And finally, I would like to say, even if you want to swim, you have to jump into the water and swim. And if you stay on the land and just observe the swimming, it doesn't affect it. So learning a curriculum is just like jumping into the water and learning to swim. Thank you.
So ladies and gentlemen, now you can see the signs of the team is getting on fire. So thank
Good evening all. I am here to emphasize that creating awareness is more in solid waste management system. So for that, I put forward an idea, government's agenda and critical thinking. So here, when we consider government syllabus and curriculum, they are designed in a way what people are expected to know, not what people should know. For example, there will be only few examples and procedures in a curriculum. But so the people are allowed to know only few things. For example, we have policies to ban polythene and plastic usage. But also, our country is importing more than 500,000 tons of virgin plastic from foreign countries annually. And also, around 400 companies are actively manufacturing plastic. So it is very much a paradox. And also, there are so many people around the country who are facing the disadvantages of this waste accumulation. For example, the people who are living near the slums and the lands where the wastes are getting dumped. So those people are living under condition which is so pathetic. So if there is an awareness or if there is a protest which also comes under the awareness, those people gather together. So all of their problems are getting under the flashlight and all the people are getting to know their problems. So this cannot be achieved by mere curriculum. And the next thing, obviously when we are going to educate through a curricular system, only a small part of the community, like people who are producing more waste. So a small part of the community only getting that knowledge. But the important people who have to know about this knowledge are not getting the information. For example, people who are producing more waste and the people who are engaged in waste managing system and the people who are collecting the waste. So they should have enough amount of knowledge. And also, there are practical issues and challenges coming under the flashlight. So for example, this debate, it is a kind of awareness. So we are discussing about many problems which we haven't heard before. So by this we are enhancing our critical thinking which leads to the accomplishment of a solution. Whereas this kind of curriculum and all, they are not finding a solution. They are just giving an idea which is not applicable for our country situation. And also, opponent team member said that being slow and stable. But in this situation, being slow would not be the solution also. Being slow is not appreciable because the more we wait for the solution, the more we accumulate the waste products. So it gives a hazardous effect on our health and living style. And also, they said that person giving the awareness should have the curricular studies or like that. But I'm saying that the person who is creating this awareness is a researcher or a person who is working in this field, well, in the waste managing field. So, and also, the next thing, putting the curriculum. I have a question. Where are you going to put this? At which stage? So, the people who are going through the secondary and tertiary education, that is inclining. So, if you say we can put it in the primary education, so do the kids have the ability or can they understand these kind of issues? And do they have, can they create any impact even at least in their domestic levels? So obviously creating awareness is the prudent method for this proper solid waste managing system. Thank you.
So thanks, really better.
So good evening, respected jury members and our both your opponents and the faculty members. I'm very privileged to take part to this topic. The curricular education is more prudent in managing solid waste. So I would like to go with my opponents that I would like to answer two questions indeed you asked. The first thing that we are going to apply. Yes, we apply to the society. So you are like your opponents and your point are telling that there is no need for having schools or universities or any institutions because those curriculum, like I, we, they, you all became a part of this awareness program or part of this session to become and became educated by the curriculum that we are studying. And that curriculum is a mark that we are put forward here. And also, as my opponent member, that the second speaker said, that the children from schools, those who are educated in the school levels, they are acting or they are showing in action the domestic level. Yes, they are doing. For an example, getting to know like children like your school members or like your sisters and brothers, they are still have a plan to implement the eco-friendly methods. So I would like to go with some evidences. This is known as the Sustainable Development Goals. What is the need of having 2012 like Millennium Sustainable Goal and then 2030 as this very sustainable goals? Because if we or the government or everyone who are educated, we can still get a progress like this. Because slow process is a still progress, because that process can give you the result of what you take by action. Also, I can go with the evidences from this is a book that I brought now from the library. Environment and Health Impact of Solid Waste Management Activities. This is the curriculum for the Master of Science fielder who started to gain his first semester examination. Do you think this curriculum is not worthy? Because you are telling that the awareness program are creating much more awareness. Because telling or giving just 1 minute talk or 1 minute, 1 hour elaborated session can't create any awareness for the students. For an example, what is the need of having creating or giving an evidence-based evidence like this? I'm an educated people with the much more expectancy of undergraduate degree, but still I'm progressing. So that's the need that I would like to say. And also, I would like to mention another point. The curriculum education consists of two patterns. The first one is the applied and the second one is the pure. So when those two components are connected only, then we can say it as the curriculum action or curriculum education. And also we have something more to this. We are adding something to this as an extracurricular tool. That's extracurricular also containing the Scouts camping, Guide camping, Environmental Authority interactive clubs, Environmental Protection Club, and the Social Rebuilding clubs. Those clubs are still remaining because of the educational curriculums, and the NGOs and the students are working still to build those things. As according to my point in my arguments, I would like to say that those curriculum education are giving the circular integration. So what is meant by circular integration? The first topic, it's like topic like science and geography, and like combining it and giving it to the students from the lower level to the upper level. And the second thing is the hands-on project. What is meant by hands-on project? For example, I'm from humanitarian department. I am under a course called ethics and moral values. I have to show an evidence-based project proposal based on the solid waste management. And also the third thing, the partnership with the industry's expert. What is the need of learning the expert from different areas to calculate yourself? Because you have to earn much to apply for the society. You are working for the society, not for yourself. And the fourth thing is the community outreach program. I would like to say again and again, we are aware, like doing these awareness programs also, without the curriculum activities, we can't do an awareness program indeed. So that's the main thing that I'm trying to say. So in this note, I can't say anything because our proven evidence are still writing. So thank you, over to you.
So ladies and gentlemen, that you can witness that recent
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. So the debate clearly states which is more impactful for society, whether it is the curriculum education or whether it is public awareness. This is the debate. Now, if you can notice a certain pattern, all these four debaters have only spoken about two examples. They are Japan and Sri Lanka. Why? I can give you the answer. Because Japan already has a perfectly implemented system and they use education to enhance that system. Sri Lanka has an education compulsory system and also free education. They only covered about two examples. So what about the other countries? You can take all the countries in Africa, you can take all the countries in South America, you can take Bangladesh, Philippines, Pakistan, Arabistan, all these examples, and can you prove that all the citizens of those places are gaining access to that education? They freaking out. Why? They are living in a lack of financial status, they do not have free education, they can only think about what they can do to achieve the next meal. They are not going to think about education. So in that particular community, is education going to help them much, or are the community programs going to help them? That is the perfect question. And you can identify, they are only given 2 examples. Let me prove how each and every one of their bases is wrong. The first one, what we said, creating a long-term solution. My question, 3 questions are these. But how can you make sure that each and every person of a country has access to this education? The second one, can you make sure that the correct people involved in solid-based management have the access to the education? And third one, can you make sure that since it's a long-term solution, can you make sure that each and every process and they are going to follow that until the end term? Now I can give you examples. Take the garbage collecting workers in Bangladesh, take the people in Dharavi slums, take the people in Pakistan, take the people in Philippines. Are these people going to gain access to that education that you are so for? If not, then the base is extremely long. It is only applicable for Sri Lanka and Japan, not for the rest of the countries in the world. So their first base is entirely wrong. Okay, let me move on for the second base. The most fascinating is born participate in public awareness program. This is the perfect example of saying that born with a silver spoon. What we are saying is that a person who resides in a garbage dump, who has problems in solid-based management, who is living in a stinking place and trying to find solutions, won't attend a program to benefit their health. But they are saying that despite a larger lack of education access, people would, the small amount of people would go to school and that would become the solution. How can this be logical? I simply do not understand at all. If you have lived in a slum, if you have lived in a correct area, you would know that awareness programs are the biggest cause for. And another question, they are speaking about that we are all educated people, education. My another question is this, if you are educated, what are you going to do to the society? Just think, you are all residents of Jaffna. You can go to Karkedi place. You know the problems that are happening in Karkedi, there is no proper solid waste management, people are suffering there. Do you think your education is going to help there, or creating public awareness in those people is going to help them? Obviously you are not going to do it. You can come and say for the sake of debate, I will go and help everything. You are not. You are going to go home and sleep. But only if you do the public awareness in that place, those people will recognize their problems, they will create their solution, and they will go for the proper solid waste management, which would create a more impact in the society. The other questions they ask, why PhDs are there? Simple. Only certain people can be educated. Only certain people have access to the education. Those people, what do they think? If they had thought that only education curriculum is enough, they would not have created this public awareness program. The reason they are creating it, the reason they are implementing it, the reason every government is doing these things is they identify that certain population, the impactful population do not have this access. They identify this is the best way for solid waste management and they are implementing it. So that itself gives the answer that this is more important. Another thing, habitual practice they had said. Now my question is, if you are only individual and the entire society is not adapting to you, can you make sure that you, one person itself educated, can turn the society? Or do we think that we create a public awareness and somehow make sure that the people understand the concept, they can do the practices which they can be able to do, and they can create the solution themselves, which do you think is going to be more effective? Obviously, those people, the people who reside in those areas, those people who have the problems, their personal problems, if they get the better access, they are going to do the better, or they can do the better things. And this clearly proves exactly that giving a solid-based public awareness programs is going to be much more effective than giving a curricular education to a certain restricted population. Thank you.
Respected audience, now you can see the signs of the teams getting.
Good evening once again, ladies and gentlemen. Nice to meet you again in the summary speech. So, first of all, once again, we are saying that awareness programs are more prudent, more effective than curricular education. And before I move on to summarizing the points, a few things I would like to reiterate. Right, they mentioned that awareness programs are given here and there to large populations. No, awareness programs are targeted. They are targeted actions to certain populations who really need them. And we are not taking a huge classroom of people where the back row is going to sleep. Right? This is going to be a small concentrated amount of people that is going to come. And also, compared to the now say we give this education to 100 people, right? Half of them just don't care. Maybe 1 or 2 will go out and do something. But think about a person who attends this, as they call, a nerdy awareness program. The people who come, they really need a solution. These people care, right? And they are willing to act. So, say 100 of these people turn up, at least 70 will do something, come up with a solution to act, because they care and because they have suffered in real time. And they are not in some kind of posh building learning about things that are not happening happening to them, right? So that is one point I would like to mention. And again, back to these nerdy awareness programs. Awareness programs do not need to be nerdy. They mentioned that Vijay movies are more enjoyable. Awareness programs can be shown in that way too. There are movies, teledramas, plays, right, which even like people like us, when we watch, we understand there are a lot of things that we don't learn via this curriculum. So it's just a matter of getting creative. Right, so you can't blame the awareness program itself, right? There are so many ways of delivering it effectively to the people. And they show these huge, large books, right? And I was wondering what most of us are actually going to do with this knowledge, right? We are probably going to aim for good grades and then a good job, right? Are we going to, how many of us are actually going to bother to go out and like go to these people, talk to them, or kind of bring up a new cool solution for solid waste management? No, we are going to be busy feeding our children, right? So that is again not going to happen. And also these things that we've been learning, like these huge books, right? From all the definitions and the sources and the citing, how much are you going to remember at the end of the day? How much of these principles are you going to remember? I mean, I studied about this 5R system and the hierarchy probably last year, and I don't remember anything until I came to this debate, right? And also, again about this debate, like the need of this debate to us educated people, doesn't it show that just the curricular education has failed at some point, that it is not enough really, right? That something extra needs to be done to make it effective. Right? So if we are in such a state, imagine the people, right? So you're talking about the people who can be covered by this system, the privileged ones. So you're totally, absolutely neglecting the people who do not have access to this, be it Sri Lanka or anywhere else. So again, we were talking about population coverage, and they mentioned that there is a legal requirement. But come on, I have seen so many people who have not gone to school. After this education crisis, there are so many dropouts from universities, from the secondary education system. They drop out at O-levels. Half the patients we meet at hospitals are just up to grade 8, right? Up to grade 8, right? Whatever compulsory education that they have. The question is whether these children have the maturity to understand the implications of actually implementing the solutions or whatever they have learned. They probably don't, right? We talked about the autonomy of these children, right? We talked about awareness program being updated and right at the point something happens, you give it. Not some kind of outdated syllabus that we have that's going to kind of get renewed every 5 years, right? We talked about theory versus reality. Everything we learn in theory is not going to be practically applicable. We need to come up with a solution based on a situation which is dynamic, right? And again, we also talked about what the government decides to show us or teach us as well, right? So that is an agenda, right? A lot of things that are going on, a lot of policies we never know about, right? So there is some kind of hidden part that is involved here, right? And we also mentioned that this slow process only leads to accumulation of things, and there is a need of immediate action that can only be achieved effectively by awareness programs. So definitely awareness programs are more prudent than this typical curricular education. Thank you.
So thank you, Ms. Gopika. So now I would like to call upon the first speaker.
Once again, happy to come back. So I would like to go with the summary part that whole of the argument of our side is mainly based on curricular education is more prudent. More prudent, that means the more wiser in managing solid waste than merely creating awareness among the population. So the opposition team, they just changed the topic. That they are talking about whether the effective curricular population or ineffective curricular education is more prudent or that is more effective in the solid waste management. Here we are talking about curricular, proper, structurized, standardized curricular education is more prudent than the creating awareness program. So this is the underline of our whole argument. So curriculum defining, I was already which is work on to gain the set of goal, a particular goal. So that is what we needed here. To produce a create an awareness program also, you need the proper curriculum. They talk about this debate also part of the awareness program. Okay, even though we accept that, to conduct this debate, you need a curriculum, you need some educational knowledge, you need something about it, no? Then, and also as we are a part of the undergraduate studies only, we are here to participate in this debate. So this is what we are trying to portray to the audience, that curricular education is more important. And they talk that we are coming up with the two examples, Japan and Sri Lanka. And what they are coming up with? They are coming up with the what are the ineffective curricular system in India and Bangladesh and those things. We are not here to talk about whether the curricular system is achieved by more population or not. Here we are talking about the curriculum education is more prudent than creating a awareness program within a sort of time, within a very small population. They talk that only you are educating 100 people, will they make change? Yes, it will make changes, because creating awareness program is mentored by 10%. Okay, let's say I will go with their example, 10% of the educators and other 90% of the illiterate. Here it's obvious and crystal clear that these 10% people create impact on the other 90% of the illiterate people, rather than creating awareness program, because of the proper curriculum education and their educational knowledge, which is here work as prudent. And one more example here, if you going to create a awareness program, okay, illiterate people got some ideas how to dispose the garbages. But here we are here that because of the good curriculum education, for example, USA, they have a good curriculum education to dispose the garbages. The intellectual people here creating smart bins, then no need of labor, no need of people to go and collect the garbage bins. The AI system, the smart bins, the robotics, they are here to collect the garbages. So here solid waste management is conducted by the educational curriculum system, not about the illiterate people, trying to retrain the illiterate people by the awareness program. And we have pointed out many things that students in the micro level should be little by little educated to make the solid waste as the inbuilt inherent moral ethics, rather than the create awareness program by just a mere solution for at that time only. And we have pointed out that a good curriculum is more long-lasting process, and transformation should be done from the individual through the curriculum. And again, I am insisting it's not about whether the curriculum is achieved by people or not. And here, and also the 5R method, those 5R method also constructed through the curriculum effect. And this will be teacher taught to the